Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at the Black Cat figure from the Marvel Legends Infinite series Spider-Man Build-A-Figure wave of the Green Goblin. This figure comes with two accessories, her whip and this Build-A-Figure of the Green Goblin torso. But I won't be building the Green Goblin at all, so... Now, taking a closer look at the figure itself, I think they did a great job with this. A lot better than I was expecting. I've seen a lot of stuff, especially with the Marvel Legends back when it was under Toy Biz, where girly figures would have like a mid-stomach cut that would kind of ruin the shape. A lot of articulation kind of tends to ruin girl figures because they're smaller in scale. So the articulation lines are more noticeable, whereas like more broad-shouldered, broad-torsoed male figures, there's more material. So the ratio of, articulation cuts to actual surface, it's a different ratio and less noticeable. Anyway, I like the way this one turned out because they don't ruin it with like a mid-stomach cut. And it's also slightly bigger than I was expecting compared to some of the DC Universe stuff like the Harley figure and whatnot, where it's a much smaller figure. Taking a closer look at the body itself, I like that it's got the ball-hinged shoulder and the single joint elbow. But I like the wrist joint here. It's got that hinged wrist that goes up and down. Same thing on this side. And I like that they sculpted her hand in like a clawing cat meow kind of position. But I really do like that hinge that they did there. Also, I love that the mid-torso cut is higher up. It's right underneath her boobage. So it's less noticeable. You get to enjoy an actual stomach sculpt that's not ruined. The only thing that's weird is like her thighs, like the material is really rough. It doesn't match how smooth her torso and arms are. But other than that, it's a good shape to the figure. She's got double knee joints and I dig that. The sculpt of her boots look good. What I really like is she's got that swivel at the ankles like all the good Hasbro toys have now. It's really helpful in stabilizing the figure, especially because the front hinge is kind of loose and wobbly, and that's a problem for me. That's the only real problem with this toy is it's got really loose ankle joints. One of the things I think they got right is the way they sculpted the fur that goes around her boots and around her gloves and her chest area. In fact, it wouldn't be Black Cat without some huge snoobs, and they did do a good job, designing her ample bosom area. But I like the fact that this little ring here that, the zipper kind of meets at is sculpted to kind of hang over just past the edge of the stomach line. That's cool. It gives it a little bit of dimension. It's not flat and just sort of painted on. Speaking of paint, I really like the way they handled her hair. Her character has white hair, but they added this blue wash to it, and what that does, it helps highlight the sculpt, but the blue doesn't take away from the white. It complements it and still reads as white hair. They also did a good job painting her face. I think the mask looks decent. The corners there could be a little bit better, but her eyes look good, her lips look really good. It stayed on the lip sculpt. The lips read kind of wet. I think even just her choker there, they did some pretty good paint on this. Lastly, I dig the whip. I think it looks cool, and I'm really glad that not only did they include these little tiny grooves of what the whip material would be, but they included that claw at the end. I'm really glad they included it and didn't make some dumb generic whip. But the whip does look really cool. I'm really impressed by the texturing in there. As a whole, I'm really happy with this figure. I think, a Black Widow was long overdue in the Marvel Legends line. When they first kind of brought Marvel Legends back as this Infinity series, I was really hoping that they would do a Black Cat figure. She's one of my favorite characters. And I think they did a good job with her, better than I expected. So good job for doing a good Black Cat figure. Thanks for watching.